What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. And for those of you that know that I'm also a real estate agent as well as vlogger here on this channel, I get asked a lot what I think about the real estate market, and it's changing from minute to minute here. And you know, you get advice last week and then you have to change it for this week because there's so much going on in the market between the stock market losing its wheels and falling apart, the crypto market falling apart, and interest rates rising on mortgages affecting the real estate market. So in this video, I'm going to download my thoughts on the market because I've been talking about it all morning. Let me tell you, there are things they are not telling you about that I think that are very important, things that will affect a certain home buyer and will affect, you know, how much inventory will be coming on the market or going off of it. What people are really thinking instead of what the pundits on TV are actually telling you. If we go into recession like everybody is saying, the big guys, the suits on the streets, people are going to lose their jobs. And at some point, the market will have a capitulation point. I just got off the phone with some really good real estate agents here in Pensacola and Gulf Coast, and we all have our mixed opinions because we all sell different types of real estate. The other day when they changed interest rates and they moved up 0.75, it was like a light switch change, and I could like almost feel it in the market that all of a sudden the chatter kind of slowed down as far as buyers wanting to buy. Sellers starting to question, hey, is my property going to get stuck on the market? You're starting to see real estate agents bring their prices down on the MLS across the board. And then the buyers are seeing that, especially on Zillow, and they're saying, hey, I'm seeing they're reducing their price. The market's about to fall. Well, people have been screaming, don't buy real estate, both the media and the public, to the point where you can say something enough and it becomes hysteria, chaos, capitulation, and everybody just doesn't do it. And if enough people lose their jobs, that's why I always say pay down your mortgage, pay off your debt, you need a fortress of solitude. If enough people buckle on their payments or not buy, it could reduce the price of properties. It could make a market start to falter, and it could have severe impact. See, the moment we see inventory spike in real estate, because inventory is the key here, the moment we see the amount of houses on the market go up considerably month over month or quarter over quarter, we know we got a problem. And I know this is where a lot of agents are going to dive into the comments section like, you're wrong, inventory's nowhere to be found. Well, it's starting to creep up. And I think there's a point where sellers on the other side, so you're talking buyers, sellers, the buy side's worried about the interest rate, while the sellers are worried about missing out on these astronomical prices that they can get for their properties. And I think once they start to think, hey, I better sell it if I'm going to sell it, but then they got to have a place to go. So, you know, a market, you can't make money in a market if it just keeps going up. It's got to go up and down. You got to have volatility, right? So they're like, well, what do I got? Where do I go? I'm going to lose my great interest rate. I'm going to, you know, nowhere to go. I'm going to take this money and live in an RV. What am I going to do? And the buyers are like, well, the interest rates are going up. I'm not buying. Once that problem, that question finds a head and everybody as one giant brain says, this is what's going to happen, the market reacts, we're going to figure out. And real estate moves very slowly. So the numbers you're seeing are last month's or the months before, or 2 months before's numbers, and they haven't caught up. And I feel like right now we're in that inflection point where inventory is going to start sitting and interest rates are going to have cooled it off. And if home builders, they're going to have to make a decision where they're going to build more. But I think when the cost of capital to pay for these giant builds, these big mega subdivisions, gets too expensive, they'll stop building too. Especially if they know they're going to sit on the market for very long, because holding costs are expensive. And look, I got to add right now that permits to start new builds is down, okay? It's down quite considerably. Go look up the statistics on the new build numbers put out last week, that the amount of permits applied for new builds is down significantly. That means that builders are not wanting to put the money on the ground to start new projects because they're afraid they're going to get stuck with them, just like in 2008. And this is where it gets scary, because if there's not enough inventory already and builders are hesitant to build, we're going to have a problem. And that's the stalemate we're in. Which will falter first? That's going to be a question for the market to figure out. I got a lot of opinions on that, and I've got some things that people are not telling you. So the first thing is the cost to build, the cost to renovate, the cost to basically do anything on a house has gone up, right? So you see the price of the property, which has gone up quite a lot in the last year and a half. Now your note on the property, your mortgage, is going to be more expensive on its face, because you might have saw a 2.9% interest rate in your payment a year ago, and now you're looking at that 6.22 that they just went to, and it's going to go up again by the end of this year. You're going to see another 0.5, 0.75% raise at the end of this year. So that same property just got a lot more expensive with your payment. And it's mind-blowing to a buyer to see that. I'm even seeing some people lose their rates because properties are taking longer to finish, especially if it's a new build, and they're losing their rate lock and going from 3.5 to 6, and it's scary. I think the federal government will step in and make things happen. That's never a good thing. That's how we got the 40% of the money supply being printed all in 1 year. All the money in America, 40% of it was printed in 1 year. Here, I'll put that diagram like right here, okay? Because anytime the federal government steps in and says mortgage forbearance, it says landlords can't kick people out, it says all these things, and you mess with the market, you get a repercussion like we are having right now, where things astronomically get more expensive. We have super inflation. We have landlords that don't want to have tenants that are long-term and want to Airbnb only short-term rental, and it makes it to where there's no long-term rentals for families. Anytime you mess with the market, you get a weird outcome, and that's what we're seeing right now in the real estate market. So we saw the Home Depot CEO, founder, really the old CEO, the founder of Home Depot, saying brace for a recession. And he's saying pay down your debts because times are going to get hard. And when I look at times going to be hard, so when you look at the real estate market, you've got the lower priced homes. Now that's 100, 125,000, 150,000. That used to be your 50, 60, 80, 100. But you got your lower priced homes, you got those middle range, 3 to 600,000 range, and then you got your very luxury lifestyle, 700. I'm just making these categories up to the way they work in my mind, because I categorize it a certain way in my head. It just works for me. And so as you go to renovate these houses, it gets exponentially more expensive. Well, one, because they're bigger square footage, and two, some of the materials are just more expensive because they're luxury. So you might have an extra 20 to 30% the prices of inflation on the remodel of that house, or on anything you want to do. If you want to buy a new driveway, it's 4-month back order and 30% more. If you want a new roof, 30% more. If you want insurance on these houses, it's more expensive. Everything is more expensive. So when I bake in everything being more expensive, and wages in America haven't gone up that much, you start to see the squeeze of what people can actually afford and maintain. So when you look at the bottom part of the market, and you look at, they have only this much amount of money to actually purchase their home and pay for the mortgage and maintain it and keep the lights on and eat and feed their family, their budget is this. And inflation has moved the mark 20%, because let's be real inflation is not 8.6% right now. It's probably somewhere around 12, especially if you're buying materials or anything like that. Food prices, crazy. Gas, crazy. So that worker, that class of person is getting squeezed at both ends. So there is a equilibrium between the price of renting and the price of home ownership. And the closer you get to that, the more people start saying, I'm either going to rent or I'm going to buy. And between that and interest rates, because that's what the Fed is using to slow down the market, both for goods and real estate and services, we start to see it start to fight itself. Now, to get back to my very first point of everything slowing down, people are starting to second guess buying. Here on the Gulf Coast, do I think prices are going to capitulate? No. There are way too many people moving here. Just like my last video I detailed a few weeks ago. There's too many people moving here for it to capitulate. Unless we have a major financial meltdown. And I am really getting to the point that I feel like one is coming. Not financial advice, this is my opinion. When I look at the stock market down, S&P 500 down 22.5%. It's fluctuated because it's been open today, okay? NASDAQ's down 29.25% on the year. Holy smokes. And I look at crypto that actually got cratered this weekend. I think it's more like a risk-off point of view there. I start to question a lot of what's going on, okay? Like with crypto, that is a risk-off asset. It is a highly volatile, speculative play. I actually like it, but it's a speculation play right now in money managers' minds, okay? And they went risk-off. S&P 500, risk off. We got a war in Ukraine. We got super high gas prices. We got people not wanting to buy stuff, and inflation is squeezing them. I guarantee you taxes go up in the next election cycle. So we factor in a lot of these things. Real estate is the only hard tangible asset right now, especially in the Gulf Coast and in most places, that big money or a person can put a large sum of their money in that will hold its value, okay, and rise with inflation. Because the stock market's down across the board, crypto's down, just about everything unless you own an oil farm right now is down. There's no real place for money to go. So when I look at the Gulf Coast, I think right now it will stay propped up. So if you're buying, well, it should stay propped up and stay competitive. Things will probably stay on the market a little longer, okay? Like from a day to a week, okay? And especially if it's in good shape. I'm starting to see some builders throw some really weird stuff at us, like 6% commission for a real estate agent to bring a buyer on certain things, 4% commission, which is way high for what we've been seeing, to bring a buyer for some of these properties. And I'm even starting to see some builders second guess building. Okay, so housing starting houses, new builds was down, okay, this month, okay? So permit pulls were down. We're starting to see a lot of factors of things cycling down, amount of mortgages applied for down. It's cooling itself off, and it's only been, a week or so. So I'm really leaning towards the market here on the Gulf Coast is going to start to slow, and give it 8 to 12 months, it's going to be screeched to an absolute halt. I made a post on this on my personal page. If you follow my personal page, it's really mind-blowing and it's starting to scare me. I don't even want to touch a stock. I'm going to average down in crypto because that's just what I did. If you've seen my video on crypto, that portfolio has gotten blitzed, but I have been dollar cost averaging and preparing for the moment when Bitcoin gets way down like it is, because I'm accumulating for the long haul. Now is the time, the next 12 months, to become wealthy. because there's going to be opportunities in the market. Chaos begets opportunity. You just, as a young person or any person, just sit back, relax, and let the deals come in, because that's what I did 3 or 4 years ago when I bought my rentals and my property and everything, and I cycled out of them when the market exploded. So that's my thoughts on where the market is going, and I hope this helped. It's really hard to cover everything in these videos, but I will make another one as soon as everything changes, because I'm not scared of not getting any views, because I just got my opinions and this is how I voice them. I hope if you're looking to buy property out there, I think I'm going to do a video on Airbnbs, because I think it's one of the biggest bubbles in real estate right now, because people are buying them with the wrong numbers and they don't want to listen. I don't think I think a lot of agents are just pushing them, and I think people are building them because people are buying them. But that rent rate, short-term rate, has to be right, and I think we're going to see legislation starting to cap them. I'm already seeing it in a few places here on the Gulf Coast. So I hope you guys are doing great. Like and subscribe. Comment down below your thoughts. I think real estate is getting soft, and it's going to roll over very soon. And if you're up north, it's toast. Like if you're in one of those big cities, I think it's going to be in a hurt. And I don't even want to talk about commercial real estate. I don't touch that with 10-foot pole. I'll see you guys later.